Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week, and this time we're talking about Web3 and blockchain again, but now it's going to be a very interesting talks because we're talking about electric vehicles. So as you know, electric vehicles could make up for 1/10 of all road traffic by 2030 as their popularity soars. We'll just have to wait and see if this is actually confirmed. So these vehicles predominantly run on lithium-ion batteries, and lithium extraction poses a significant environmental concern. So despite the critical role they play in making the electric vehicle industry more sustainable, businesses dedicated to recycling lithium-ion batteries face challenges, especially in securing timely revenue inflows. Now, today I have with me Jasvir Dhillon, the CEO and co-founder of Pomo, and Sascha Kubisch, CTO and co-founder of Pomo. Hi guys, nice to have you here.
Hi. Hi Zoltan, thanks for having us.
All right, so before we dive into the question, I just want to pick your brains and just want to let our audience know who you guys are, what's your background. So let's start with you, Jasvir.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to introduce myself. I'm Jasvir, like you mentioned, CEO and co-founder of Pomo. I've been in the tech, mobility, and power industry for the last 6 years. And last year, we came across a great opportunity to bring cutting-edge blockchain tech to the traditional old energy and power infrastructure business. And since then, we've been working on this, and here we are. I'll keep my introduction short in this fashion.
Sascha.
Yeah, Sascha Kubisch from Germany, from Osnabrück. I have a background in environmental engineering, computational engineering, worked also in optimization and high performance computing. Joined the blockchain space 2 years ago, where I worked as a blockchain architect at Blocksmove. And we did very similar projects to what Jasvir and me are doing now. So we were connecting IoT devices of the energy and mobility sector to blockchain for all kinds of purposes. And now, like almost 2 months ago, I joined I started Pomo with Jasvir together, and I'm very excited for this new journey.
Wow, this sounds very exciting, but let's also teach our listeners, because that's what we usually do in our episodes, about the companies our guests are working for and established. So first of all, this question is for both of you. Either one can answer, since you're both co-founders. So could you tell our listeners a bit more about Pomo and its vision?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I can take that up, and Sascha can add to this, obviously. So your Pomo is an energy deep-in project that enables people, communities, and individuals to crowd-finance renewable energy assets, for example, storage batteries, and in return on shared revenue from the utility services that these energy assets provide. So on one hand, we are opening up access for these previously closed energy assets to individuals who can now directly own a stake in these assets, like storage batteries or solar panels or whatnot. and earn a share of revenue. And on the other side, the advantage for, let's say, the battery makers and owners is that they can bypass the capex, the capital fundraise hurdles with access to decentralized financing globally, borderless. And we cut out the middlemen for them. So we don't have to include big banks or big lawyers, year of due diligence processes. And then at the same time, we help them access new revenue streams, which is based on this new tokenization model, like data monetization, carbon credits, and several. So on one hand, we're opening access to the energy space, and on the other hand, we bring low cost, fast, and borderless financing for the well, let's say battery storage.
Right. Sascha, you want to add something?
No, I think it was a very good explanation. Yeah.
I thought so too. This is one of the best explanations, man, when the company introduced themselves at our episodes in 2 years. So thank you so much.
That's a good start. That's a good start.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good start. So how does the Penomo's platform work to tokenize batteries? This is what I'm interested in first. And how does it enable businesses to monetize their sustainable energy storage assets? Either one of you can take this.
Yeah, maybe I will take that. So from a battery business kind of perspective, imagine there's a company who owns batteries. Now they want to scale their business, so they need some more liquidity, some more funds to buy new batteries. So now they can register on our platform, they can register their batteries, enter the details, and then connect them to the blockchain. Basically, each battery will get a wallet, and each battery can now bring data on chain, encrypt and sign data. And that's the way how we would onboard a battery. And once they are onboarded, the battery owner can now tokenize the battery. So he can say, okay, this battery will in the next, let's say 12 months, generate that amount of revenue. And I want to generate X amount of tokens for a price of Y. And then he can sell these tokens to investors. And each of the investors will then, once the battery generates revenues, participate in this revenue. So when the battery generates revenue, the revenue is distributed to all token holders proportional to their stake. So that's the whole concept. And like I said, the battery owner can use the platform to register and tokenize the batteries, to set a price, to offer these tokens. And then on the other hand, the investors can register on our platform or on other marketplaces to buy these tokens and then receive the rewards on their wallets. Yeah,
sounds pretty straightforward. Jasvir.
Yeah, I would like to give a little bit of more background, because maybe some of the audience is not familiar with the energy space, with how the batteries work, and what are these batteries, where are they located, how do they even generate revenue? This is a very common question that we were asked initially. And so there are different kinds of batteries we're talking about here, right? So let's say there is a small battery unit which is attached to a residential house, which is connected to a solar panel. So whenever there is energy generated from the solar roof panel, it gets stored in the battery, and then you can use it flexibly. Then there are batteries; these are residential batteries. Then there are commercial and industrial batteries, which do the similar function of what the residential batteries do, but they're about 100 times the size, because they have to support large factories, let's say. And then you have batteries which we call front of the meter. And these batteries are connected directly to large solar farms or wind farms, right? Because solar and wind energy is very intermittent. And it's only produced when there's sun or when there's wind, right? So it's important to store the energy. And what's interesting is when the solar farms and wind farms are producing energy, that may not necessarily be the time when there is the demand for it. So you very often have a lot of excess, and if you just let it go, you're wasting a lot of energy, money. So batteries do the job of storing that energy and using it when there is demand, right? So they are extremely important for this energy transition. So this is a background. Some people it's important for us to explain. And then there's EV batteries, right? EV batteries, as you just mentioned, they're rising in number, and their capacity is fairly high, enough to run a German urban household for 4 days on one charge, right? So they can hold enough power. And so what's happening now is EVs are not used all the time, right? When they're not being used, let's say during the whole night or during the day when they're not being used, now there's a concept of vehicle to grid, right? And what we do with this is that we connect the EV batteries. When you plug it to a station or your plug, we connect the battery now to the grid, which is powering the entire local area. And then you can offer the battery storage to the grid and earn revenue back, right? So that's a way of earning revenue from EV batteries. And the same applies for all these different kind of batteries. You can sell power back, the excess power that you have. You can sell it to the grid, earn money. And when there is excess in the grid, you can take it and store it. And so this is called energy arbitrage. And then there's things like frequency regulation. So the battery provides a lot of storage and power delivery services from which it earns revenue. So that's the background of how we earn the revenue. And then of course, then the question, we come back to how we use the platform. So we are basically saying, an important part of what we're doing while we're doing is these batteries cost a lot of money to build, huge amounts of capital expenditure. We're talking about from hundreds of millions of dollars to multiple $1 billion for and the time it takes to raise this money, the cost of banks, the banking, the interest rates, and the number of intermediaries. It's too much. It's very costly for them. And that's the reason why we want to, it's one of the reasons why we want to improve this financing process, because the battery storage industry is the fastest growing industry today in Europe, right? And also, arguably in the world. And so we need financing, but then here we have traditional systems which are making it really slow. And, you don't have the ideal deals. It's not peer-to-peer. There's no transparency. And so we say, okay, we have this technology of tokenization, and we have the concept of decentralized physical infrastructure network, which is called DeepIn. This is ideal to solve this space. And then, of course, what Sascha has mentioned about how the platform does what it does.
All right. So you guys are also leveraging the Peak layer 1 backbone. We had the Peak team here a couple of episodes ago. So can you explain how this integration with Peak benefits your projects and its users? Anyone of you?
Yeah. Sascha, maybe you can go first and then.
Yes, so Peak is layer 1 built on Polkadot.
Yeah.
Polkadot is known for being very efficient in terms of transactions per second, and also the gas costs are way lower than on Ethereum. So already this is a big plus for a platform like us, which needs to handle a lot of transactions. But then also Peak is basically the blockchain ecosystem that specializes on IoT integration, on the economy of things. There are many projects building on Peak who we as Penomo can cooperate with. So Jasvir just told you about the grid balancing.
Yeah.
So you have to somehow get the data from the battery, and then in order to monetize it, for example, also for carbon credits, which is another revenue stream, you need a lot of expertise and a lot of work on handling those revenue streams. And on Peak Network, there's, for example, a company called Green Network, which we are in talks now to cooperate with them. So they are, for example, the ideal partner that we need in order to implement those revenue streams, so, because they are specialists for getting data from batteries in order to monetize it. Then there's Blocksmove, where I worked before. They are also building on Peak. They are also a very good partner for grid balancing, because they are experts in terms of integrating IoT and also in the energy devices to the blockchain. And they already had projects in grid balancing. So that's another ideal partner for us. And because of this, it's basically a no-brainer to choose Peak as a network, because we can make use of that. We can all cooperate and build very nice stuff in this ecosystem.
All right. Jasvir.
Yeah, likewise. And I can add a few points here as well, right? So Peak allows us to have cross-chain interoperability as well, right? So we are not limited to one blockchain, or we're not limited to Polkadot. We are compatible with others. And at the same time, Peak also gives us a lot of ready-made modules, like decentralized IDs, role-based access control modules. It's an interesting concept of machine NFTs, and the whole blockchain security, right? So Polkadot has its own security, but then you need a blockchain to operate on. And the thing is, if we decided to make all of this ourselves, then it doesn't make sense. We wouldn't be able to get anywhere, because we are tackling more on the, we're tackling problems on the application side. If we try to build the whole blockchain infrastructure ourselves, then we don't get anywhere. So we need the right partner, and Peak is that partner for us.
All right. So since Sascha brought up the carbon credits, one of the key aspects of Penomo's solution is selling carbon credits, right? And this is selling it to companies looking to go carbon neutral. So how does this process work, and what impact can it have on the environment?
Yes. So just to give you a quick overview or a quick explanation of carbon credits. So it's basically a mechanism that rewards those who capture or avoid carbon on the one side. This can be farms that plant trees, or this can also be companies that use, for example, batteries in a way that it avoids carbon. So these actors they can basically generate these certificates and sell them to other companies that emit carbon. And these companies on the other side that emit carbon and need to buy these credits or want to buy these credits can be, for example, oil companies or whatever companies that have a lot of emissions. And so there's a market now based on this mechanism. And like I said, it can be tree planting projects, but also more and more technical based projects, like, for example, based on recycling of batteries, are more and more implemented. And we also want to target this sector, because it means for the battery owner an additional revenue stream. Because once we have connected the battery to the blockchain and it is sending data on a ledger, we have an end-to-end verifiable data stream. Basically, we can verify the data. We can also measure basically how the battery business is using the battery. And if we can find metrics that basically prove that the business is avoiding credits based on this end-to-end verifiable data, we can automatically mint these carbon credits and sell them. And another thing is, for example, when the batteries get recycled, you can very straightforwardly calculate how much carbon this recycling saved, and then also again mint credits and sell these credits, and then distribute the revenues from that sell to the token holders. And that's how it would work.
Okay, so Jasvir, you would like to add something to Sascha's?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for the technical interruption. No, I think he explained pretty much everything, right? I can boil it down to much high level explanation, maybe, because it may not be as straightforward to understand the carbon credit concept to everybody. So basically, we're saying that the whole process of using batteries and producing them the right way and storing energy, which is excess, all of these things, and reusing second life and recycling batteries, all of this takes a lot of money, right? And at the same time, what we are doing with this is, and let's say if you're using new technology which helps us store more energy compared to other batteries in the same amount of space and volume, what we're saying is takes a lot of money, right? But at the same time, all of these things, they decarbonize. They decarbonize the battery value chain. So they're helping us save carbon. So the concept of carbon credits is that if you can legitimately prove that you are saving carbon by using this technology and whatever you need to do, we can quantify the amount of carbon you save. We can convert these, let's say, 10 units of saved carbon into 10 units of carbon credits, let's say. And there is a value attached to this, to a single unit of carbon credit, which is accepted by the market. It depends on the technology you use. It depends on whatever you use. And so what we do is we say that, okay, the battery businesses, you're saving carbon, and this is the amount of carbon you save. Now we convert this amount of saved carbon into this amount of tokens. We mint it, we put it on chain, because the carbon credit, we'll come to that. So we get these carbon credits, and now we sell it to businesses or individuals who are looking to offset their own footprint. So by this, what we are doing is the people who are buying these credits, they give the money to the people who are offsetting it, right? And they're essentially paying to offset their own footprint because they can't offset it themselves. So there is a net reduction in CO2. Of course, the idea, comes up that, okay, is this an indefinite, is this a green signal for us to keep emitting forever? Because we can, the big companies can keep paying, and then they can keep emitting. So that's not the idea. So, there has to be a cap in total amount of CO2 emitted and saved, obviously. But then this acts as a very nice mechanism to promote new decarbonization technologies, right? So and this acts as a nice revenue stream for people who are putting in the effort and investing money for innovation and technologies to get to decarbonize a specific industry. So that's the concept of carbon credits. Actually, I just wanted to highlight that, because I myself in early days had this confusion. Okay, what are carbon credits? It sounds like a scam, but it's not. It's very legit. It's quite powerful tool if it's used correctly. So I just wanted to add that. I think Sascha gave a very nice answer before.
Okay, so the next question, I think the first part Sascha can answer and Jasvir can go for the second part. Because Sascha, I want to ask you, can you share some insights into the current stage of Penomo's development? And Jasvir, can you also maybe just share some developments with your partnership with energy storage and recycling companies? So Sascha, you go first.
Yes, so we are currently in the stage of developing our tokenization POC. So we are basically developing the core platform, the very minimal version of this with the front end for the battery business to register and tokenize the batteries, for an investor to buy tokens, including KYC, custodial wallets, and so on. So this will be a minimal version, but also a working version. And after this is completed, this will be around Q1 next year, we will start a POC with partners that then add revenue streams to this platform. So beginning of next year, we will start adding revenue streams to the platform. And this is the current stage of development.
All right. So Jasvir.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, while Sascha is working on building the software, building the core, we've had some great inbound from the industry. So some of the biggest names in the industry have reached out to us even before we had a product or had a website. They found us out because our deck, our concept was being shared around in the industry, and people found us. So companies like Audi, Bosch, and some other names have reached out to us. We have signed agreements, or let's say letter of intent, with Second Life battery companies in Germany, in Norway, in India. And we are in discussions of doing POCs with more companies right now. Like R3 Network is based in Hong Kong, and we are doing it with the battery manufacturer in Australia. and we have a couple of partnerships lined up with power management companies who will make a lot of sense, to offer a solution together with us. So we're seeing a lot of traction right now, and basically these are the things happening right now. We have more in the pipeline. I've had at least 10 people tell us that, hey, this is something that we'd like to explore. We need this. Let's get going. So yeah, the pipeline is quite strong, I would say.
That's good. And since you mentioned the endorsement of major companies such as Audi and Bosch, how important is the industry support in achieving Penomo's goals? So, Jasvir, we would like to answer this.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we both can contribute to the answer. Right? So, it's very important because what we're basically doing is we are bringing cutting edge Web3 or blockchain technology to an industry which is quite traditional. The energy space, nobody knows what happens in the energy space, right? Nobody knows how electricity is transacted. It's all a magic. It's all a magic behind behind our walls. It's happening, but it's real. And so is the mobility space. So, but we've seen that these guys, they want to connect with cutting edge technology, with new startups, and without these partnerships, it won't work, right? So what we're building is not something which is standalone. It's not like ChatGPT. It's just like, you don't have to be dependent on something to offer your product. We have to be working with these guys to help them, and then bridge two very different worlds. And the good thing is there's huge demand for it. And so without partnerships, it's not going to work. And so, since you ask the importance of industry support, it's very important. It's equally important for them, because if these traditional industries, if they're not onboarded to cutting edge, they will lose out to their competition. They will be left behind. Their customers won't be happy, and it's a win-win for both, and it's a loss for both if you don't do it. So yeah, that's my short answer.
Sascha?
Nothing to add here.
Nothing to add here. All right. And since Jasvir brought up ChatGPT, and AI is like a keyword trending thing in 2023, could you guys elaborate on how Penomo's plans to utilize artificial intelligence is making EV batteries more sustainable throughout the KI2L project led by Fraunhofer HHI?
Absolutely.
Would like to take this one?
Yeah, I can maybe add a little bit more here, because I've been involved in this project a little bit before. Sascha came in, and so the idea here is really interesting, right? So this is a project which is sponsored to us. So we won a grant to complete this project, and it came by a peak. And the idea here is that the German government has given good amount of money for 6-7 partners in the battery space, in the technology space, AI and blockchain space, to build a solution to create predictive technology, to create AI and blockchain based digital twins of batteries, so that we can determine what is the life remaining of the battery for its second life and afterlife usage. Right. So what we're saying is, since the time the battery life starts, we're gonna onboard the battery data on a transparent blockchain, right? And so that everybody sees what this data is. There's no hidden, and it's secure. It's trustless. And then we use this to train AI models, which are going to use the data from the ledger and create predictive models to predict the health of the battery. And prediction of the health of the battery is extremely important, because it can, if you don't do it right, you can pretty much reduce the life of the battery, to 2 to 3 years, and that's a lot of wasted resource. So we are basically building AI and blockchain-based digital twins of EV batteries to maximize the second life potential of the battery. In short. And that's what the project is about. And we are doing it with Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer is the leader of the project. It's the largest research institute in Europe. It's very well known. And then we have some big company. It's a big company which makes batteries called Tesvolt. And we have an AI partner. We have us, who is building the main core of the digital twin. And so it's very interesting, right? Because we see that the German government itself, the European Union, they are very keen to bring cutting edge technology to make things happen here. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
All right.
Yeah, maybe to add here and to be clear, so we are not an AI company and we won't do AI specific development. To draw the line here, we just basically very simply said we provide the data to enable like enhanced AI to train the models or whatever. So we are basically building, like Jasvir said, the digital twin that takes in the data, and we ensure that the data is verified and that you can track it back to the device and have this end-to-end verifiable chain of trust. All the training, like Jasvir said, will be done by other companies. Yeah.
All right. So
go ahead. Sorry, I mean just to add, and what's interesting here is to train AI models, you need data, right? And you ideally need verifiable, clear, transparent data. And there's a lot of data which is generated in the battery space, and there's a huge problem of confidentiality, security, and blockchain basically solves that problem. And we aim to help companies monetize this data for their own sake. And we will use the functionality of Peak, which is integrability with AI agents, right? So if there's a company out there who has AI agents to train this, we can offer these AI micro agents who could potentially take the data from our chain and make the whole offering much more smarter. Of course, we are starting if we also try to build an AI model and then we're doing blockchain and then we're doing tokenization. We don't get anywhere, right? So we start step by step by offering support for AI agents, but that's the core.
Right. So among the testimonies and mission of Pomo, I saw that sustainability and regenerative finance are listed. So can you discuss how your project aligns with these principles and why they are crucial in today's energy landscape?
Yeah, I can start with that. I would keep the answer simple here. Refi, there's a lot of fancy terms out there. In my opinion, refi is very simple. This is what we're doing. We're basically saying that our business model accelerates the decarbonization of our chosen industry, right? And so we align with regenerative finance by ensuring that investments in energy storage promote environmental regeneration. And this is crucial to address the climate change problem. And so I like to keep it simple to that. And that's how we address the refi principle. I'll keep my answer short there. Maybe Sascha has more to add.
Oh yeah, maybe we differ from projects that only focus on carbon credits in that way that we are financing actually the infrastructure. So carbon credit projects finance more let's say reforestation projects or other things, also infrastructure. But we are really focusing on the batteries, for example, which are devices which are very cost intensive, and finance these really capital intensive assets, and then add carbon credits, for example, as revenue streams to this. So that's a bit of a difference to what you normally see in the refi space. Yeah. So this fractional ownership and tokenization of actual assets. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, there's a lot of talk about the adoption of Web3 and DeFi, decentralized finance solutions. So what challenges do you guys foresee in the adoption of Web3 and decentralized finance solutions in the sustainable energy sector, which is very important? And how is Penomo addressing these challenges?
Yeah, maybe I can start with that again. So yeah, like every new startup who's trying to break new ground, we have challenges as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing anything new. The first one is, I think, something, excuse me, we are all aware about, which is, I would say, the regulatory compliance side of DeFi. So DeFi is an emerging field. Regulations are still catching up. We don't have rules everywhere. So, people are still trying to find alternatives to work in different countries, legal setups and whatnot. So there's some challenge there in aligning our DeFi operations with the current regulations. The other, I would say, is on the business side, which is what we're bridging here, is they don't have a clear understanding of what blockchain is. They're very good at what they're doing, but when you try to pitch, blockchain, Web3, all these things, they are very much interested, but they don't really get it. So there is some time which takes to onboard them, to onboard the decision makers and say, hey, this is exactly the business value that we bring for you, right? So there's some time which goes there. And I would say on the investor side or on the people side of things, most of the Web2 world still hasn't been onboarded to the Web3 world, right? So there's the Web3 native people is still very, very low in volume, right? It's still a very new concept for most. So there's some time till it picks up, but we're seeing strong signs where there's more and more adoption of crypto, and there's always these scams which keep on coming in between, which spoil the like the FTX. What happens, and people see crypto, and then there's a red flag. Wait, it's not like this, right? Every emerging technology, even the internet, was like this in the early days in the 90s. It always starts with scams till all the bad ones filter out and the good ones emerge. The way we are solving this, so let's start with the onboarding Web3 users or Web2 users on a platform. So there's a lot of other startups who are focusing, the only focus is to make sure there's seamless integration between the Web2 world and the Web3 world when it comes to fiat payments, converting fiat to whatever cryptocurrency you want. So we are addressing that by partnering with the right institutions, which make it extremely seamless, or as seamless as possible today, to make sure that the fiat transactions are carried out extremely well in the Web3 world. On the partnership side with the businesses, we have to work with them, right? There's no other way around them. So what we try to do is we take care of all the hard Web3 infrastructure, whatever build, and we just present to them something which is more familiar to the Web2 world. So you can also call us, say that we are somewhere in the Web 2.5 world, which is right at the intersection till we successfully onboard the Web2 companies. And the regulatory side, we again, we're working with partnerships. So we have, again, a lot of interest from people in the regulatory space who are saying that, hey, the project is really good. We really love it. And we want to help you cross the regulatory barriers. So this is how we are solving these three challenges, basically. Maybe Sascha has what to add.
Yes, to add to this, basically, in order, like Jasvir, you said, Web 2.5. So to enable this Web 2.5, to make it accessible to more traditional, more conventional investors and also businesses, we will enable, or we will build a platform that basically doesn't differ much from those platforms. You don't need to be a blockchain expert in order to register on the platform. You don't need a MetaMask. You don't need to handle the private keys. We can offer custodial wallets. We can manage the private keys for our customers. And that way, basically, we can open the platform also for more conventional businesses and more traditional businesses and investors. And also one thing that is now emerging is more and more regulation. So in Europe, the crypto assets are more and more regulated, and there's more and more demand also for regulated assets via, for example, security tokens. And because we are tokenizing assets and distribute revenue to the token holders, this will be very much likely regarded as a security. And therefore, we will also we will need to build upon these regulated standards and meet the regulatory requirements. That means also for the investors that they will have some kind of security, and this in turn will then also be even more attractive for more conventional, more traditional investors, because we will be offering regulated assets.
All right. Thank you so much for this answer. And this now is consider it as the closing question and maybe a wish for you guys. And I'm interested in looking into the future. What is Penomo's long-term goals and the potential impact you guys hope to achieve in the sustainable energy and Web3 communities? So, Sascha, you can go first on this. Jasvir, you can close this podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, we will basically build our platform, launch the platform, add more and more partners and possibilities for tokenizing assets on our platform, make it as easy to access as possible. And for the long-term vision also, I mean, this tokenization concept, you can not only apply this to batteries, but you can also apply this to solar panels, to direct air capture plants, which are also, again, assets that are capital intensive and that can create revenue also in the form of carbon credits. So you can apply this to multiple assets. And this is basically where we see ourselves in the future, that we open up more and also apply it to more verticals, and that way have apply this strategy and this concept to multiple assets.
All right, thank you.
Right. So to close this, I would say the vision of Pomo is to make ownership of our green energy infrastructure borderless, seamless, and accessible to everybody. So the model we are thinking of is that everyone participates and everyone benefits. And this way we are making the future of energy inclusive, sustainable, and community driven. And so we are saying that, you know, all of us are not going to be mere living bodies who are present in this ecosystem, but we're giving everybody a chance to participate and be a real stakeholder in this energy ecosystem, right? Because now let's say, you know, the question is why, right? The question is, whenever there's an energy deficit, or, you know, whatever there's high demand, or anything happens and the electricity costs rise, we are the ones who pay for it, right? We are the ones who are always paying for it. We never get a chance to, you know, get a piece of this cake. The one who is winning every day in whatever instance are these small, you know, group of people who, it's not even the businesses in most cases, it's the investors in these businesses who you know, who get the big cut. And so we are saying that, okay, we want to change this dynamic, right? And where businesses benefit, as well as the people get a chance to get ownership in this. And we've seen a lot of interest in this. And one thing I'd like to say on a more practical side, that we would soon be launching our waitlist for investors, and that's something that I'd like you know, people to pay attention to, because that's something where you can participate, and you don't have to be located in a certain local energy ecosystem. You can own a piece of a local energy system anywhere in the world, ideally, right? And so we will be opening a waitlist for this. So the execution has begun, and we're really looking forward to this people-centric energy ecosystem in this future.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for your time, for doing this. This has been very insightful, and we wish you guys all the luck. And let's catch up in 1 year to see what happens. I'm sure that it will slowly take over the world, and your project will grow exponentially. So thank you guys once again, and let's stay in touch.
Thanks,
Yes.
Zoltan. Appreciate it. And thanks for having us on Hipther. I think what you're doing is fantastic. And hello to your audience again. And let's catch up soon.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.